This is the most volatile, toxic franchise, I think. It's crazy. It's crazy to see the fans, right? The team Gorga, the team Melissa. It's crazy. And for someone who I like both of them, it's really like you can't say anything.
You can't say shit. Well, that's the thing too. When we talk about Jersey, it's like if we're defending, you can't defend anybody because then you are so far in that person's like lane that it's all of a sudden like you're biased. When Andy
It's like
Cohen,
politics.
Yeah, it's like politics. Andy Cohen said it on Not Skinny But Not Fat with Amanda Hirsch the other day. He's like, I've just genuinely accepted that I'm always going to piss off the Bravo fans. And it's true. It's like you're never going to win because you don't know how something hits somebody or strikes a chord with them. You know what I mean? So they might be able to relate to it different. They see Melissa and they are the sister-in-law that gets the short end of the stick, or they see Teresa and they have been put in a shitty situation by their ex-husband. So you don't know how they're relating to it. And then that kind of, I feel like, contributes to who they're forming in their minds as a fan and alliance with as a cast member. Oh my gosh, I'm on some Dr. Phil shit.
Yeah,
today,
I don't know what this is great. This is great.
So hold on. I'm not done though. Wait. Let's get into it. Okay, so the Real Housewives of New Jersey, it's at a crossroads right now because they have no freaking clue who is going to film next season. Now, we had Teresa Giudice. We've talked about this a little bit with you guys. She has been since day one. This is my show. She's obviously been a huge part of the show. You have Melissa Gorga, who's kind of taking away from that a little bit on the show when Teresa's like, I gave birth on the show. I got married on the show. I went to jail on the show. Melissa's like, good for you, girl. You went to jail on the show. You want a fucking cookie for that? That's not an accomplishment. But for Teresa, she's like, I've showed every vulnerable moment of my life and given everything to this show.
It's true.
Well, while she's doing it on the reunion, at least part one of the reunion, which I felt like was a little lackluster for a part one of the reunion, you could see where she's coming in hot. Like Vicky Gumbelson, this is my show. Rachel Fuda over there, shut the fuck up. I've been here for 10 years. Melissa, you don't know shit. And this is your last time you'll be on the couch. Like she's making her rounds to everyone. And Andy's kind of looking at her like, oh shit, do we have Vicky 2.0?
Right? We don't need Vicky 2.0. We don't need this. Yes. But
okay. So
get to this because I think I know where you're going with this.
Now, before I get into the New Jersey crossroads of it all, I wanted to ask you, because I asked Ricky the same question the other day, and I know what his answer was. I want to ask you your answer.
Okay.
The show moving forward, The Real Housewives of New Jersey is one of the only franchises of Housewives that we really celebrate the husbands. Now, I asked, which one's more valuable? Because we know Teresa is the front runner for all of the housewives on Jersey. She is the person you think about when you think about Jersey. But with Melissa, it comes as a pair. Joe Gorga's very likable. He rallies the guys together. He gives us that other element of the show that provides the family aspect, the full spectrum into their lives that the fans really enjoy. So if you take him out of that, do you kind of have a leader of the wolf pack? Or is it just like every other housewife show with the husbands randomly getting together and it doesn't necessarily make the most sense? So if you take Teresa out, we'll still have all the husbands get together, the feel good moments and the drama because we keep Melissa and Joe. And if you take Melissa and Joe out, we might have a more tame Teresa who doesn't have the family drama that we're sick of, but the husbands might not be getting together in the same way. Which one do you lean into?
Adam, I cannot say, okay? I'm trying to save my life here. I can't say. What I can say is I think they're both going to come back and they both will be forced to film together. I mean, Teresa is going through some financial crap right now, allegedly being reported. And maybe I think with Louis involved too, they would want to stay on TV, right? Regardless of the situation. I think that this is not the ending that the audience, that the viewers want. Like, not for me, you know, there's got to be, I want to get into it more, but then at the same time, and maybe this is me trying to decide, but at the same time, I get really bored of the same scenario, you know, year after year. And it's just kind of like another episode of the same thing, another episode of the same thing. But now we have Danielle and Rachel. And it's like, okay, great. You know, you're adding all these like guest stars, but, you know, we're not seeing any resolution with our main stars.
Exactly. Okay, so hold on. When they were trying to originally phase Teresa out, they were going to have Caroline Manzo come back in. And the main point of the story was to talk about this Caroline Manzo allegedly calling the FBI. Caroline has said, I did not call the FBI, but I was in the room with the person who did. I know who they are, and I'm never going to say who it was. At the end of the part 1 of the reunion, we saw where Teresa said, I spoke to the FBI, and I believe it was my brother and my sister-in-law who called the FBI on my ex-husband. So I think what they were trying to do was bring Caroline Manzo in to button up Teresa's story and phase her out. But what the producers are saying right now when it comes to all of this drama is pretty interesting. Andy Cohen explained there are several options. They're both really popular, meaning Melissa and Teresa. I think they're both walking around with the institutional knowledge that they both have and the institutional hurt feelings, especially Teresa. Teresa let out at the last reunion that she was mad at Melissa for not changing her wedding date because Teresa was pregnant at her wedding and she was a bridesmaid. She didn't like how she looked, so this is now going back 15 years. He said, I think what's interesting about it is that they're both a little right. I think that they both have really great points, and I think that's why it's not so clearly cut about whose side to be on. But as of right now, he's saying that him, production, Bravo, NBC, they are struggling with how to move forward with the show and keep both cast members on.
Very interesting. They're both stubborn too. He forgot to put that in there because we never can get sometimes you're never going to win, right? So like with Melissa or with Teresa, you're never going to win and you have to accept it and just let it go, And it's like you almost get there, and then right when you almost get there, they just come back full force with some nonsense. I don't know. I don't know how you, unless you bring back like a Caroline Manzo, which is not going to happen now, or you bring back someone interesting, because we're over the new thing, right? Like they tried the new cast members.
Well, we like our new cast members.
We love our new we love them, but they're not enough to drive the show.
Right.
The Rachel Danielle drama is not enough to drive the show.
No,
you still need your main characters. And so you would have to you'd have to bring someone else back.
Yeah.
Strong. I mean, Atlanta's making this mistake right now, with their ratings, and you can see that they needed to pull back, pull someone from the past. And
we're going to get into that too. But wouldn't it be so funny if all of a sudden next season you see like an intro and it's like Rosie with a champagne glass and like her wife and she's like, I'm back, bitches. And you're like, what the fuck?
I love that.
What? And she's like, I got my champagne flute. And it's like, wait, where the hell did you come from? She's like, oh, Rosie is back. Joe's like, my girl's back. It's great. She's like, cue Joe. But
there's a lot happening with Teresa right now, and everything that's being reported right now, it's supposedly, allegedly, all of that. But with her tax lien or alleged tax lien and stuff, there's a lot happening. And you add Louis into the mix. I don't want to see anything more happen to Teresa than what she's already been through.
I agree with that. I even brought that up in our interview. And she said, I'm a big girl. I can handle myself. Well, I hope so, because there's no prenup, no nothing. Ebony Dix, bring the whole cast back. Who cares if they're unhappy? I agree with that too. Teresa's getting a $2 million paycheck. Between Melissa and Joe, they're raking in over $1 million. Like this sort of tantrum disagreement. I'm not filming with her. Like this kind of attitude when it's really like I get it. Who were we just talking about? Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker on Sex and the City?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I get that. Like we're talking about buku bucks. And
we're talking about talent.
We're talking about
real big. Yeah.
Yes. It's a little different. And I understand reality TV shows, movies. I get it. It's a little bit different. But for these women, it's almost like the Kardashian era where we took a bunch of people where there's not like a real talent being displayed here. It's more so just following their everyday lives, which is great. We love it.
Absolutely.
But how can you be so fucking demanding? How can you be like, I know you're paying me $2 million, but you better keep that bitch 5 feet away from me or else we're going to have a problem and I'm ripping this mic off. What?
Yeah.
And also, by the way, none of the cast except for Danielle's husband and Jennifer Aydin's husband and maybe Pauly want to film with Louis, which is another problem.